Hello again, Tom here from Wheeler Automotive. Today, showing you around this beast. This is a 2014 Mercedes-Benz Vito. It's the long wheelbase Dualiner. So that means it's the 5-seat van in essence. So it's got the two captain's chairs in the front, and then 3 seats in the sort of middle, and then still a huge sort of load area, usable space in the back. Those middle seats do fold out the way, and they do lift out as well if you wanted to just make it into one big van. This would make a really good camper van conversion actually. It's only had 2 owners from new. The chap I bought it from had it since 2017, and the only reason he sold it to me was because he's in what will be the new ULEZ zone in London, and this isn't ULEZ compliant, so that's the only reason he sold it. He didn't want to sell it at all, and I can understand why. It's a really useful thing. I've been driving it around myself for about 2 weeks, and it drives like a car, but it's just ginormous inside. It's so practical. Cracking vehicle. 2 owners from new. It's had 6 services. The last one was in May 23 at just under 110,000 miles. It's now done just over 111,000 miles. It starts, stops and drives exactly as it should. It's a 6-speed manual. The clutch is all good. I've never seen a fault on the dash. It starts first time every time. It's a really nice vehicle. There's a couple of little marks around the bodywork, which I will show you now. So up on the front end, and that is a bug. That's not mark to the paint, that's a bug that's splattered on the drive back from having it valeted. But on the front end we've got a tiny little scratch here on this corner, which I didn't think was bad enough to warrant getting anything painted. Both of the headlights are crystal clear, but they do have this slight yellowing. I've had a go at getting it off, but it's basically from where he'd had on those little discs you put on the lights for driving abroad so that it doesn't blind people on the opposite side of the road, and he'd left them on for obviously quite some time, and there's just a bit of residue left on there, so I'm confident I can get that off, but at my first pass I only managed to get about half off, but that's on both of them. It does have front and rear parking sensors which are all working. The bonnet's in really good shape. There's no real marks on that. There's a couple of little stone chips. There's one there, look. There's another one up here. But on the whole, it's really tidy. This offside corner is very good, as is the wing all the way up. It's got these really nice 17-inch alloys. A little bit of curbing on this one. Now, one thing I did do was fit new front tyres because they were pretty much bowled. So these Dunlop Econo drives are pretty much new. You can see still got the paint markings on them. Front discs, just the beginnings of a small lip, so plenty of life in them, and the pads are nice and thick as well. See if it can focus in there. There you go. Oh, I'm going to focus again. There we go. Onto the driver's door, which is in really good shape actually. There's just one little ding up here, which is probably from someone else just bumping into it with their door or something like that, but otherwise that door's all good. It does have these chrome steps on each side, which I think make it look really smart. Really practical having the sliding doors on both sides and the glass, because you can actually, when you're reversing and stuff, having those windows really helps see where you're going and that no one's coming. But yeah, this door's in really good shape. There's no real marks on that at all. These little black things are flies, they're not dents or anything. As is this rear quarter. The rear tyres were pretty good, so I've left them, but they're probably about 20% worn. You can see there's loads of tread in those. Rear discs, again, just a small lip on them, same as the fronts, and the pads look nice and thick as well. Yeah, all nice and scratch free, dent free on this rear quarter. I think it probably not going to show on the camera very well, but I think it's probably been scratched here before and had paint, because you can see it's a slightly different shade, and where they've blended it in I could just tell it's had paint on that quarter. So yeah, just being totally honest with you. Round to the rear bumper's actually in really good nick. You can see the parking sensors on it there. That's a factory fitted tow bar and electrics, and the actual tailgate itself's in really good nick. It's got this nice tinted glass again. There's no real marks on it. There's a little one here and a little sort of half a scratch there. Otherwise the tailgate's really good. You can open that up. And inside the back, the chap that I bought it from wasn't a tradesman, so it's not had a sort of really tough life. You can see there's some scuffing on the plastics in the back here, but it's kind of what it's there for. The floor's actually in really good shape. He must have had a cover on the floor, because the floor's really, really clean. And it's got this sort of stainless checker plate over the top of the bumper, which again is factory fitted and a really good idea, because it saves the bumpers from getting annihilated. Both the rear lights are nice and clear. There's no moisture in them or anything. All working as they should. Round to the near side. There's a little nick in this corner, look here. It's just touched something. That's about it though. On this near side rear, I'd say it's pretty flawless really. Again, we've got another nice 17-inch wheel. Discs and pads. You might be able to see the pads on this one. Oh, you can sort of see half it. Anyway, discs and pads, got loads of life in them. This tyre again is about 20% worn, so loads of life in that. And the whole side, this near side's in really good nick actually. There's nothing else negatively I can show you about it. Both the wing mirrors are in good shape. All the glass is nice and clear. There's no dings or scratches on either of these doors, and neither on the near side front wing. Again, we've got I've probably done 200 miles with these tyres. You can see the tread's just really thick. Disc and pad, same as the other side, and a nice presentable 17-inch wheel. So externally, I think it's in really good nick, because vans can have pretty tough lives, and this one's obviously not had one. Let's show you inside, because it's really tidy inside. So in the back, got these, it's like a black and grey cloth interior. Got the 3 seats across here, so much room. These seats are fairly far back, and you can just see how much room you've got. A few marks on the floor here, probably where he's transported something, and the seats are a little grubby. I've not had them shampooed yet, but I think they'll come up really well. But these all fold down and forward as well, so you get pretty much the whole of the rear space available. And then the sort of cabin, again, we've got the same cloth seats. These are captain's chairs, so you get the armrest. They're really comfortable. Lots of adjustment on them as well. Like the front bit moves up and down, and you can jack the whole thing up and change the rear as well. But yeah, it's all really tidy in here. There's not excessive marks in anywhere. There's a few little scratches on the dash and stuff, but it's overall it's in really good shape. It does have an aftermarket stereo, which I'll show you when when I started up, which we'll go and do now. I do have 3 working keys with it. I asked why 3, and I think he'd lost one, so had another made, but then found the lost one. So now we've got 3, which is good. Driver's door card is in pretty good shape. The driver's seat's in very good shape as well. There's just a tiny bit of wear on the bolster where you kind of naturally bump into it because it's quite high up when you get in and out. But the rest of the dash and the steering wheel in particular is very nice and clean. Let's get in and we'll start it up. As you can see there, that's the current mileage, 111,500 miles. And it just starts and runs incredibly well. So in here we do have aircon. We've got the various controls for the lights and the locks for the rear. This someone trying to call me whilst we're doing this. Let's turn that down. So this aftermarket stereo is actually very good. It does have nav built in. You can stream music via Bluetooth. It's got a radio, etc. And it actually works surprisingly well. I do have the original head unit, which is a double din Mercedes one, if you wanted to make it back the way it was. So yeah, that will come with the vehicle. We've got a bit of wear on the gear knob, the steering wheel. It's a leather multifunction one. There's again tiny bit of wear around the edge, which is, you know, exactly what you would expect for the mileage, to be honest. We do have cruise control. That one down there does the indicators, wipers, and main beam. And yeah, everything in here works exactly as it should. We've got electric front windows and mirrors. The aircon blows nice and cold. Yeah, it's just a really nice place to be, and it drives really, really well. Let's get out. You can hear the really good on fuel as well. Actually, I just need to remember to tell you that, because I thought it would be. I had a 3-litre one of these, an auto, and I thought this would be sort of fairly comparable fuel-wise, but this actually easily does 40 to the gallon, and on a run on the motorway at 70 it will do mid to late 40s to the gallon, which for such a big vehicle is amazing, really. But yeah, there it is, our 2014 Mercedes Vito.